CarbonSports.ag is an all-in-one betting site established in 2007 and licensed by the Directorate of Offshore Gaming by the governments of Antigua and Barbuda. The average withdrawal time is 3 to 35 business days, and winnings are limited to $100,000 per week. Now, we call Carbon Sports an all-in-one site because it contains here a sportsbook, as well as casino and racebook options. Oops, having a little trouble there. And, of course, a head-to-head poker room. Now, it's debatable on whether or not Carbon Poker is as popular or more popular than Carbon Sports. I'm not sure that there's really a debate to be had because Carbon Sports was launched as a poker site just called Carbon in the early 2000s, and it's maintained some dominance in that market since then. Carbon is currently open to customers from the US and Canada. That makes it unique among big online sportsbooks. In fact, you could say that because they insist on using the English language and the US dollar as currency, that their target audience is customers from the United States. Let's take a look at the sportsbook options themselves. The interface, the layout of the sportsbook is standard. You have your markets here on the left side, a nice nav bar at the top to bounce between various sections of the all-in-one site. Your bet ticket here, it's one-click betting. You can change your odds formats with one click inside this bet ticket too once you select a market. And this area here just has some throwaway information about promos and stats and such. In the center is where your actual markets will be displayed. So let's look at MLB lines. Nice display here. We can categorize by game lines, first 5 innings lines, series prices, props, margin of victory, all kinds of MLB lines here. Let's look at some of these props, just for an example. Team to score first. Dodgers at Athletics, team to score first. Pitcher's names listed, bam. Click there, look at that. Straight to the ticket. You can change your amount, you can see how much you're going to win. It's absolutely lovely. The colors aren't that bad. In fact, I think this sort of color here on the markets list really jumps out to me. It's better than white, which I'm seeing more sites use these days. It's really well organized. It's intuitive. Stuff is where you think it's going to be. I would like to say, though I can't show it to you, the mobile layout is a little bit disappointing. I mean, it looks identical to this layout. So if I was on my mobile right now, it would look just like this. And as far as sports bets are concerned, all the same wagers are available. But it just it doesn't look right. I have an iPhone 6 Plus, but the screen's plenty big. The display should be fine. It's just not that attractive. It almost looks like an afterthought. Here we have live betting. This is important to a lot of people. I want to show you. We've got a pretty extensive live betting schedule here until you realize that it goes several days into the future. So, for instance, the 20th, there's just one, and it's preseason NFL. That doesn't mean that they don't have a lot of live betting markets. I mean, I'm reviewing the site in midsummer, and that tends to be a bad season for sports. But it is something to think about. As you can see, it's mostly baseball, soccer, and NFL preseason games right now in terms of live betting. In terms of banking options, because Carbon Sports is aimed primarily at Americans, they don't have a lot of deposit and withdrawal options. In fact, right now, there's only 2 options available for Americans. That's a deposit with a Visa card, and there's details you can click here and read, and deposit by cash transfer, which is really Western Union. It's hard to find details on this method without logging in, but I can tell you from experience that you can send between $100 and $990 via cash transfer to Carbon Sports, and the fee depends on where you're sending it from and how much you're sending. As far as e-wallets, obviously, if you're from America or Canada, you can't use them. They accept deposits via e-wallet between $50 and $1,000, and if you contact customer service, you can even have that limit changed. There's some more interesting information down here about deposits if you keep reading, and that's why I say it's always important to read this stuff, because if you go through the process of signing up and then you find out some of these policies later, you're really going to kick yourself. For example, this stuff here about deposits. We allow 4 failed deposits per 24 hours. If you reach the 4th failed attempt with one method, you have to go to the next one and on and on. Even successful deposits, you can only make 3 credit card deposits of up to $1,000 per 24 hours per account. As far as withdrawals go, everybody has to pick from either Visa, Western Union, or check via courier. You can make a Visa withdrawal if you made a Visa deposit and you're limited to a max of $1,000. You can also make a Western Union withdrawal if you made a Western Union deposit and your withdrawal is limited to $990. CarbonSports will send you 1 free check per month via FedEx or DHL, limited to $2,500. All checks past the first one per month will cost you $40. You can contact customer service to see about having that fee removed too. Let's talk about bonuses. Here's the promotions page. The featured bonus right now, the sign-up bonus, is for first-time depositors. If you deposit $50 or more, you're eligible for a 50% deposit match worth up to $100. That's kind of a small max amount, but it also means it's attainable, and it's an indication that Carbon is after recreational bettors as opposed to professionals. For sports bettors, the sign-up bonus requires a 6x deposit plus bonus rollover requirement. You can look at the other bonuses here, not all of which are for sports bettors. They often run contests like this $100,000 survivor pool for the NFL this season. That's not really a promo so much as it is just like an ad. Carbon Sports does do a really cool squares game. I'm not really sure if I call that a promotion either. Now, I do like is this $100 free bet reload. Basically, all reload deposits for the life of your account make you eligible for a 100% match bonus worth up to $100. You have to deposit at least $50, so that's kind of a small range of available deposits there. But all your losing bets on this $100 free bet are reimbursed. Winning bets are paid out with a 6x rollover requirement. So that's good for sports bettors. Finally, the refer a friend deal I think is good for sportsbook customers. We kind of get the short end of the stick at Carbon Sports, but that's kind of always the case. If you refer a friend, you'll get a bonus worth 25% of their deposit up to $100. It has a 5x rollover requirement for sports bets, and you're limited to $200 a month in referral bonus cash withdrawals. It's one of the better refer a friend programs I've seen at US-facing sportsbooks, or at least one of the more attainable. You need to contact Carbon Sports. Once you log in, you can click the Contact Us link, and it gives you the option of either updating your account information, tracking deposits and withdrawals, and doing all the stuff you can do on your own here, or you can click here, and you'll pull up an email form. You'll have to tell them kind of what your issue is regarding here. You can even attach up to 2 files, click Send Email, and they say that they promise a response within 24 hours. But in my experience, it was much faster than that. There are other ways to contact Carbon Sports. You can find a live chat and online contact form in the help section, or email them at support@carbonsports.ag. Carbon Sports is one of very few sportsbook, casino, poker combo sites that still accepts bets from Americans. They're also really open to the Canadian market, and that group of bettors is starting to face kind of similar restrictions to what US bettors face. Sure, Carbon has a relatively small customer base, and they're clustered mainly around the poker room, which is more famous in the sports book, but Americans and Canadians have totally unrestricted access to the kinds of betting markets and tools that are available to the rest of the world, and that's really cool. It's also why, if you live in the US and you like to bet on sports, you have to consider this site. They cover all the major markets, as well as a huge list of global markets you might not be familiar with, political, financial, futures bets, even esports and video game sports betting. Ignore these slightly longer than average withdrawal times in favor of easy access to an awesome list of markets and solid promotions for US sportsbook customers.